Baldwinsville Theater Guild's production of The Elephant Man. Thank you all for coming and joining us this evening. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices you have in your pockets. Please, it's distracting. Secondly, the exits are located right under these signs that say exit. One here and one there. Bathrooms are located in the lobby that you came in through, so if you have to use those, they're men and women accordingly. There will be a brief 15-minute intermission. At that point, we will give complimentary hot beverages and desserts right in that room there. We'll also be doing a 50-50 raffle. All the proceeds from that benefit the Baldwinsville Theater Guild Scholarship Foundation, which is a scholarship that goes to a student pursuing the arts from the Baldwinsville area. And that's all through your donations that we can do that. So it's a very good thing, so consider giving money to me at intermission. Other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy The Elephant Man.
Mr. Cargon, Frederick Treves, your new lecturer in anatomy.
Age 31. Books on scrofula and applied surgical anatomy. Happy to see you rising, Mr. Treves. I like to see merit credited. Your industry accomplishment and skill all do you credit. Ignore the squalor of Whitechapel, the general dinginess, poverty, and neglect without. You'll find a continuing medical richesse at the London Hospital. We study and treat a wide range of diseases and disorders. We are certainly the greatest institution of our kind in the world. The Empire provides unparalleled opportunities for our study. For places cruel to life are often the most revealing, scientifically. Add to our reputation by going further. That'll satisfy. You bought a house?
Yes, on Wimpole Street.
Good. Keep at it, Treves. You'll have an FRS and 100 guinea fee before you're 40. You'll find it to be an excellent consolation prize.
Consolation? I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
I know you don't. You will.
A happy childhood in Dorset? A scientist in an age of science? In an English age, an Englishman? A teacher and a doctor at the London? 2 books published by my 31st year? A house? A wife who loves me, and my God, 100 guinea fees before I'm 40. Consolation for what? As of the year AD 1884, I, Freddie Treves, have excessive blessings. Or so it seems to me.
Tapazole! Step in and see. This side of the grave, Joseph Merrick has either hope nor expectation of relief. In every sense, his situation is desperate. His physical agony exceeded only by mental anguish. A despised creature without consolation. Tapazole! Step in and see. To live with his physical hideousness, incapacitating deformities and unremitting pain is trial enough. But to be exposed to the cruelly lacerating expressions of horror and disgust by all who behold him is even more difficult to bear. Tapazole! Step in and see. For, in order to survive, Merrick forces himself to suffer these humiliations. I repeat, humiliations, in order to survive. Thus, he exposes himself to the public who pay to gape and yawp at this freak of nature, the Elephant Man!
Are you kidding? Yeah. Wow.
I'm obscene, Mother Nature, and I'm causing it in malignant rage. Tuppence.
This sign is absurd. Half elephant, half man is not possible. Is he foreign?
All right, from Leicester, but nothing to fear.
I'm at the London across the road. I will be curious to see him if there is some genuine disorder. If he's a mass of papier-mâché and paint,
Pain ain't nothing. Ain't the sinner. Here, stand up, Merrick! Up, you bloody donkey, up!
I must examine him further at the hospital. Here is my card. I'm Treves. I will have a cab pick him up and return him. My card will gain him admittance.
5 bob, he's yours for the day.
I wish to examine him in the interests of science, you see.
Sir, I am lost. I look out for him. I get him living. Found him in Leicester Workhouse. His own ma put him there, age of 3. Couldn't bear the sight, but you can see why. Now, he and I, we're in business. Here's our capital, see. Now, you go to a bank, anyway. You want to borrow capital, you pay interest. Scientists even, he's good value though. You won't find another like him.
Fair enough.
Right then. Up, Merrick! You bloody donkey, up!
The most striking feature about him was his enormous head. Its circumference was about that of a man's waist. From the brow, there projected a huge bony mass like a loaf. While from the back of his head hung a bag of spongy, fungus-looking skin, the surface of which was comparable to brown cauliflower. On the top of the skull were a few long leg hairs. The osseous growth on the forehead, at this stage about the size of a tangerine, almost occluded one eye. From the upper jaw, there projected another mass of bone. It protruded from the mouth like a pink stump, turning the upper lip inside out and making the mouth a wide, slobbering aperture. The nose was merely a lump of flesh, only recognizable as a nose from its position. The deformities rendered the face utterly incapable of the expression of any emotion whatsoever. The back was horrible, because from it hung, as far down as the middle of the thigh, huge sack-like masses of flesh, covered in the same loathsome cauliflower-like stain. The right arm was of enormous size and shapeless. It suggested, but was not, elephantiasis, and was overgrown also with pendant masses of the same cauliflower-like skin. The right hand was large and clumsy, a fin, or paddle, rather than a hand. No distinction existed between the palm and back. The thumb was like a radish. The fingers like thick, tuberous roots. As a limb, it was useless. The other arm was remarkable by contrast. It was not only normal, but was moreover a delicately shaped limb, covered in a fine skin, and provided with a beautiful hand, which any woman might have envied. From the chest hung a bag of the same repulsive flesh. It was like a dewlap suspended from the neck of a lizard. The lower limbs had the characters of the deformed arm. They were unwieldy, dropsical looking, and grossly misshapen. There arose from the fungous skin growths a very sickening stench, which was hard to tolerate. To add a further burden to his trouble, the wretched man, when a boy, developed hip disease, which left him permanently lame, so that he could only walk with a stick. Please. He was thus denied all means of escape from his tormentors.
Mr. Treves, you have shown a profound and unknown disorder to us. You have said that when he leaves here, it is for his exhibition again. I do not think that ought to be permitted. It is a disgrace. It is a pity and a disgrace. It is an indecency, in fact. It may very well be endangered. Ways that we do not know. Something ought to be done about it.
I am a doctor. What would you have me do?
Well, I know what to do. I know.
My pin-headed darlings, attention please! Every freak in the Brussels fair is doing something to celebrate Leopold's 5th year as the King of the Congo. Him, our king, our empire.
We are the Queen.
No! Don't recite yet, you morons! I will say when. And when you do, get it right! Or else, back to the asylum. And you know what that means, don't you? They will cut you. They will cut your head. They will spoon out your little brains and replace them in the Dachshund they were made from. Cut it. Yeah. Cosmos? Cosmos?
Congo, land of darkness. Look at them, lad. Things are freer on the continent. No more indecency here. No, alright. You don't get the coppers sent round around here like London. I reckon them Brussels is their fortune. Here, look, you have a little tete-a-tete with this lot. I'll go see the coppers about their licence to exhibit. I'll be right back.
I come from England. Hello. At home, they chased us out of London. The police. Someone complained. They beat me. You have no trouble here, no? In Belgium, we make money. I look forward to it. Well, happiness, I mean. You pay your policemen off. Well, how's it done? We do a show together sometime, no? I have saved £48, 9 shillings, tuppence. English money. Ross takes care of it for me. Little bit of a vocabulary problem, Adriel. All things. You look like they put your noses to the grindstone and forgot to take them away.
They are coming! They are coming! Now!
We are the queens of the Congo, the beautiful Belgian Empire. Our nations are bigger, miners on fire. Empire, empire, Congo empire. Save all the Zulus whose spine is down. Empire! The perspire! Almost set you on.
You cretins.
Sorry, they are not ready yet.
Get your words right! Or else! Don't cry, girls. You sound very nicely.
Here, I was promised a permit. I lined up a tour on that.
This is a brutal, indecent, immoral display. It is a public indecency, and it is forbidden here.
Well, what about him? The permit.
Where's the spirit of competition? Right here. You kidding? He's at all dead, you indecent bastard.
Don't cry, girl. You didn't hit me. Austin will always mean bad memories for us, won't it, Ross?
I've decided. I'm sending you back. You're a flop. No, you're a liability. You're not the money maker I figured, and that's it.
Alone?
Here's a few bob. Have a good nosh. I'm keeping the rest for me trouble. Reckon I earned it. Invested enough with you. Pick up your stink if I stick around. Stink of failure. Stink of lost years. Stink! Oh, this the one? Yeah, see him to Liverpool Street Station safe, will you? Here's for your trouble.
Robbed!
What's he say? Oh, he just makes sounds. Fella's an imbecile.
Robbed!
Bon voyage, Johnny. His name's Johnny. He knows his name, but that's all, though.
Come on, don't follow him, Johnny. Johnny, come on, vote now, Johnny. Come on, conductor, find you a place outside. Come on.
Robbed! Robbed!
Liverpool Street Station!
We're safe in here. I barred the door.
They wanted to rip him to pieces. Oh, I ain't never seen nothing like it. Like being golden and bleeding cartoon.
Got somewhere to go in London, lad? You can't stay here.
Oh, he's an imbecile. He don't understand. I'll search him.
Got any money?
Robbed.
What's that?
Oh, we just made sounds and frightened sounds only, Nate. Go to his coat.
Don't let me go through your coat. I'll turn you over to that lot.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, don't upset yourself. I was only joking.
Joe.
Sure, croak, 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 croak. What's this card here, Johnny? Are you Johnny Merrick? Did someone give you a card?
What's that?
Mr. Frederick Treves, lecturer in anatomy, the London Hospital.
Oh, that's not far. I'll see if I can find it.
Say, what's he do? Lecture you on your anatomy? People who think right don't look like that, then do they?
Jesus.
Oh, sure, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Jesus. Jesus.
Treves.
What is going on here? Look at that mob. Have you no sense of decency? What? I am Frederick Treves. This is my car.
This poor wretch here had it, right from Austin.
Good Lord. Merrick? John Merrick? Oh. What has happened to you?
Help me.
You're Miss Sandwich.
Sandwich, yes.
You've had experience in the missionary hospitals in the Niger.
And Ceylon.
I may assume then that you've seen
Oh,
some...
the tropics. Oh, those diseases. The many and the awful scourges our Lord sends. Yes, sir.
I have need of an experienced nurse, you see.
Someone to bring him his food. Take care of the room. Yes, I understand, but it is somehow difficult.
Well, I have been let down so far. He really is. That is, well, the regular sisters. Well, it is not part of their job and they will not do it. Be ordinarily kind to Mr. Merrick without panicking. He is quite beyond ugly. You understand that? His appearance has terrified them.
The photographs show a terrible disease.
It is a disorder, not a disease. It is in no way contagious, though we don't in fact know what it is. I have found, though, that there is a deep superstition among those I've tried. They actually believe he somehow brought it on himself, this thing. And of course it is not that at all.
I am not one who believes it is ourselves who attain grace or bring chastisement to us, sir.
Miss Sandwich, I am hoping not.
Let me put your mind to rest. Care for lepers in the East, and you have care, Mr. Treves. In Africa, I have seen dreadful scourges, quite unknown to our more civilized climes. What at home could be worse than a terrible, misunderstood, and degraded, ugly black?
I imagine.
Appearances do not daunt me.
It is precisely that has led me outside the confines of the London seeking help.
I look into the hills, whence cometh my help. I understand. I believe I shall be quite satisfactory.
It's lunch.
Thank you. Perhaps you will be so good as to accompany me this time. I will introduce you.
Allow me to carry the tray.
I will. This time. You are ready?
I am.
Good. He is bathing to be rid of the odor. John, this is Miss Sandwich.
I am. Oh my good God, no.
Sorry, I thought that...
Thank you for saving the lunch this time.
Excuse me. You have let me down, you know. I did everything to warn you, and still you let me down.
You didn't say.
But I most certainly...
Didn't! You just said words.
But the photographs...
Just pictures. No one will do this. I am sorry.
Yes. Yes, well, this is not helping him.
With what fortitude he bears his cross. It is remarkable. He has made the acquaintance of religion and knows sections of the Bible by heart. Once I grasped his speech, it was clear he'd had religious instruction at one time.
Yes, I believe it was in the workhouse, Dr. Howe.
Oh, yes, they are awfully good about that sometimes. Now, the Psalms he loves, and the book of Job perplexes him, he says, for he cannot see that a just God must cause suffering, as he puts it, merely then to be merciful. Yet that Christ will save him, he does not doubt, so he is not resentful.
Christ had better be damned if we can.
In any case, he has a religious nature, and further instruction would uplift him, and I'd be pleased to provide it. I plan on speaking of him from the pulpit this week.
I see our visiting bather has flushed the busy Bishop Howe from his cruciform lair.
Speak to Merrick, sir. I have spoken to him of mercy and justice. There is a true Christian in the rough.
Well, that makes my news seem banal. Yet yes, Frederick, the response to my letter to the Times has been staggering. The English public has been so generous we may support Merrick for life without a penny spent from hospital funds.
But that is excellent.
God bless the English public.
Especially for not dismembering him at Liverpool Street Station. Yes, Frederick, the London is not a home for the incurables. This is most irregular. But for you, I'll permit it. Though God knows what you'll do.
God does know, sir, and Darwin does not.
He had better. He deformed him.
I had apprehensions coming here. I find it most fortunate that Merrick is in the hands of Dr. Treves, a Christian, sir.
Well, Frederick is a good man and a brilliant doctor. And for that we're very fortunate indeed.
I could not have raised the funds, though, Doctor.
Don't let me keep you from your duties any longer, Mr. Treves. Yet, Mr. Gong, consider. What is it science, sir, that motivates us when we transport English rule of law to India or to Ireland? When good British churchmen leave hearth and home for missionary hardship in Africa, is it science, sir, that bears them away? Sir, it is not. It is Christian duty. It is the obligation to bring our light and benefices to benighted man. That motivates us, even as it motivates Treves taught Merrick to bring salvation where none is. Gordon was a Christian, sir, and died at Khartoum for it. Not for science, sir.
Oh, are you saying not for science?
I visit him weekly, if I may, Mr. Treves.
You will be welcome, sir, I'm certain.
Then good day, sirs.
Well, Jesus, my boy. Now we have the money, what do you plan to do for Merrick?
Normality, as far as is possible.
So he will be like us, eh?
There's something wrong, Mr. Gong, with us?
How long is as long as I like?
You may stay for life. The funds exist.
Been reading this about homes for the blind. Wouldn't mind going to one of them when I have to move.
But you do not have to move. And you're not blind.
I would prefer it where no one stares at me.
No one will bother you here.
That's certainly not. I have given instructions.
What I tell ya?
God Almighty! Mr. Gom, Mr. Trees.
You were told not to do this. I do not understand. You must not lurk about. Surely you have work.
Yes, sir.
Well, it is infuriating. When you are told a thing, you must listen. I'll not have you gaping in on my patients. Kindly remember that.
Isn't a patient, sir, is he?
Do not let me find you here again.
Didn't know you were here, sir. We'll be off now.
No, Will. Mr. Treves was precisely saying no one would intrude when you intruded.
He is warned now. Merrick does not like it.
He was warned before. On what penalty, Will?
That you'd sack me, sir.
Will, you are sacked. You, his friend, do you work here?
Just started last week, sir.
Well, I hope the point is taken now.
Mr. Gum, I ain't truly sacked, am I?
Yes, Will, truly sacked. You have never been more truly sacked.
It's not me. My wife ain't well. My sister's got to take care of her. And our kids, too.
Well, think of them first next time.
It ain't as if I interfere with his medicine, sir.
That is exactly what it is. Now go!
Just keeping him to look at in private. That's all, isn't it?
There are priorities, Frederick. The first is discipline. Smooth as the passage to the tight ship's master. Mr. Merrick, you are safe from prying now.
Have we nothing to say, John?
If all those that stared at me been sacked, there'd be old hound out of work.
I meant, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, we always do say please and thank you, don't we?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
If we want to properly be like others.
Yes, sir. I want to.
And it is for our own good, is it not?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gordon, sir.
Sir, you are welcome.
You are happy here, are you not, John?
Yes.
The baths have rid you of the odour, have they not?
First chance I'll add to bathe regularly.
And 3 meals a day delivered to your room.
Yes, sir.
This is your promised land, is it not? A roof, food, protection. Is it not?
Right, Mr. Treves.
I will bet you don't know what to call this.
No, I don't.
You call it home.
Never had an home before.
Well, you have one now. Say it, John. Home. No. Really say it. I have a home. This is mine. Go on.
I have an home. This is my home. This is my home. I have an home for as long as I like.
That is what home is.
That is what is home.
If I abide by the rules, I will be happy.
Yes, sir.
Don't be shy, John.
If I abide by the rules, I'll be happy.
Very good. Why?
Why what?
Will you be happy?
Because it is my own?
Why do rules make you happy?
Well, I don't know.
Of course you do.
No, I really don't.
Well, why does anything make you happy?
Well, like what? Why?
Don't be upset. Rules make us happy because they are for our own good.
All right.
Don't be shy, John. You can say it.
This is my own?
No. About rules making us happy.
They make us happy because they are for our own good.
Excellent. Now, I'm submitting a follow-up paper on you to the London Pathological Society. It would help if you could tell me everything you recall about your first years. To fill in gaps.
To fill in gaps. The workouts where they put me. They beat you there like a drum. Boom, boom. Scrub the floor white. Shine the pan. Boom, boom. It's no use. The floor is always dirty. The pan is always tarnished. Nothing you can do about it. Still you are attacked anyway. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Will the children go to the workouts?
What children?
The children. The man he sacked.
Of necessity, will find other employment. You don't want people staring at you, do you?
No.
In your own home, you do not have to have crowds staring at you, or anyone. In your home.
No.
And Mr. Gong was merciful. You yourself are proof. Is it not so? Well, is it not so?
If your mercy is so cruel, what have you got for justice?
I'm sorry. It is just the way things are.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
You have seen the photographs of John Merrick, Mrs. Kendall. You're aware of his appearance?
Yes. He reminds me of an audience I played Cleopatra for in Brighton once. All huge, grim head, grimace, and utterly unable to clap.
Well, my aim is to lead him to as normal a life as possible. His terror of us comes from having been held at arm's length from society. I am determined that shall end. For example, he loves to meet people and converse. I am determined he shall. For example, he had never seen the inside of any normal home before. I had him to mine. And what a reward, Mrs. Kendall. His astonishment, his joy at the most ordinary things. Most critical, I feel, however, are women. I will explain. They have always shown the greatest fear and loathing of him, while he adores them, of course.
Ah, he is intelligent.
I'm convinced they are the key to retrieving him from his exclusion. Though I must warn you, women are not quite real to him, more creatures of his imagination.
Then he's already like other men, Mr. Treves.
So I thought an actress could help. I mean, unlike most women, you won't give in. You're trained to hide your true feelings and assume others.
Unlike most women, I'm famous for it. That was really all.
Well, in any case, if you could, enter the room and smile and wish him good morning. And when you leave, shake his hand. The left one is usable and really quite beautiful. And say, I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick.
Shall we try it? Left hand out, please.
I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick.
I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. That one!
By God, they are all splendid. Merrick will be so pleased. It will be the day he becomes a man like other men.
Oh, speaking of that, Mr. Trees.
Frederick, please.
Freddie, may I comment an indiscretion?
Yes?
I couldn't help notice from the photographs that of the unafflicted parts, how shall I put it?
Oh, I see. Yes, I quite understand. No. It is quite normal.
I thought as much.
Medically speaking, the papillomatous extrusions which disfigure him seem to correspond quite regularly to the osseous deformities. There is a link between the skin growths and the bone disorder, though for the life of me I have not discovered what it is or why it is. But in any case, this part would be therefore unlikely to be afflicted because, because there is no bone in it. None at all, I mean.
Well, learn a little every day, don't we?
I am horribly embarrassed.
Are you? Then he must be lonely indeed.
He is making sketches for a model of St. Philip's Church. He wants one day to build a model, you see. John, my boy, this is Mrs. Kendall. She would very much like to make your acquaintance.
Good morning, Mr. Merrick.
I will see to a few matters. I will be back soon.
I had planned so many things to say. I forgot them. You are so beautiful.
How charming, Mr. Merrick.
Well, that is what I had planned to say. Then I forgot what I had planned to say. I couldn't think of anything else. I was so excited.
Real charm is always planned.
don't you think?
Well, I do not know why I look like this, Mrs. Kendall. My mother was so beautiful. She was knocked down by an elephant at the circus when she was pregnant. Something must have happened, don't you think?
It may well have.
It may well have. But sometimes I think my head is so big because it is so full of dreams. Because it is. Do you know what happens when dreams cannot get out?
No.
I don't either. Something must. Well, you are a famous actress.
Oh, I'm not a gnome.
You must display yourself for a living then, like I did.
That is not myself, Mr. Merrick. That is an illusion. This is myself.
This is myself too.
Frederick says you love to read. So, books.
Oh, yeah. I am reading Romeo and Juliet right now.
Juliet. Oh, what a love story. I adore love stories, don't you?
I like love stories best too. If I had been Romeo, guess what?
What?
I would not have held the mirror to her breath.
Oh, you mean the part where Juliet appears to be dead and he holds a mirror to her breath to see.
Nothing. How does it feel when he kills himself because he just sees nothing?
Well, my experience as Juliet has been, particularly with an actor I will not name, that as I lay there, dead, and he is lamenting excessively, I get to thinking, if this slab of ham does not part from the ham hock of his life too sweet, I am going to scream, pop off the tomb, and plunge a dagger into his scene-stealing heart. Romeos are very undependable, Mr. Merrick.
As because he does not care for Juliet.
Not care?
Does he take her pulse? Does he get a doctor? Does he make sure? No. He kills himself. The illusion fools him because he does not care for Juliet. He only cares for himself. If I'd been Romeo, we would have got away.
But then, there would be no play, Mr. Merrick.
Well, if he does not love her, why should there be a play? Looking in a mirror and seeing nothing. It's not love. It's an illusion. When the illusion ends, he has to kill himself.
That is extraordinary.
Before I started speaking with people, I did not think things like this. Because there was no one to bother to think them for. But now, things just come out of my mouth which are true.
You are famous, John. We are in the papers. Look, they have written up my report to the Pathological Society. Look, it is a kind of apotheosis for you.
Frederick. I feel that Mr. Merrick would benefit by even more company than you already provide. In fact, by being acquainted with the best and they with him, I shall make it my task, if you'll permit. As you know, I'm a friend of nearly everyone. And I do pretty well as I please. And what pleases me is this task, I think.
My God, Mrs. Kendall, you are splendid.
Mr. Merrick, I must go now. But I would like to return if I may. And so that we may teach you about society. I would like to bring my friend, Dorothy Lady Neville. She would be delighted to meet you. Please let me tell her yes. Then until next time, I'm sure your church model will surprise us all. Mr. Merrick, it has been a great pleasure to have made your acquaintance.
John, your hand. She wishes to shake your hand.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, but it has been my pleasure. Thank you.
Wonderful success. Do you know he has never shook a woman's hand before?